Hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Eric Olson, retired, and I want to thank you for joining us on this episode of Warrior Summit Outdoors. When warriors come home from combat, there's a few things that we're looking for to help us reacclimate back to civilian life. We need peace, tranquility, and jobs. And well, a lot of people don't realize this, but art therapy is a great form of therapy for PTSD. Well, I found a gentleman by the name of Mr. Bill Allen who runs the Pocono Institute of Taxidermy, and he's doing just that. He's helping veterans heal through taxidermy as a form of therapy, as well as training them to do this as an occupation once they're finished with the school. So join us on this episode as we see how Bill does this and how he goes through the whole taxidermy process and helps get these guys on the road to success.
Warrior Summit Outdoors is brought to you by Best Buy. Best Buy is a proud employer of veterans, transitioning service members, and military spouses. To learn more about job openings in your area, go to our website, www.bestbuy-jobs.com. For more information on Warrior Summit Outdoors, we invite you to visit our website, www.couragehealsthesoul.com. There you'll find information about your host, Eric Olson, some of our upcoming episodes, and more.
I arrived at Bill Allen's Pocono Institute of Taxidermy, eager to learn how veterans are trained in the art of taxidermy, how it's healing for them post-combat, and importantly, how they could be set up on a career path and a bright future.
We've been in business since 1969. Our taxidermy training school was started in 1987. Well, we trained people from all over the country, even South Korea. We trained a person from Taiwan. But my biggest thrill is that I can train VA people under the post 9/11 GI Bill. Gives them a lot of relaxation. We set them up in the business. It gives them another chance to get on with their lives. And that's the biggest thrill for me here.
So Bill, I appreciate you having me here today. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what we're going to be doing today?
All right, the students right now are finishing up on our fish course. They each student mounted 6 fish. Now we're in the process of painting them and getting them ready to be put on driftwood and completing them up.
What happens when I give you a fish?
First thing we have to do is measure. Say it's a trout like this here. You have to measure the whole length so you know what to charge the customer, because it's sold by the inch. So if that's 20 inches and you charge $15 an inch, that's what the customer would pay. But to get the shape of this fish, we have to trace it on paper. And we use this paper here. And we take measurements. We'll take measurements of this fish in 3 different areas here. So when we hand carve the body, all our fish are all hand carved, that we're going to have an accurate fit to the fish. We skin the fish out of the backside. Okay. We make an incision. And then we have a regular fish skinning knife that we skin the fish, take the body out, we clean it, flesh it down. It's just a plain, clean skin.
Wow.
And then that goes over top of this mannequin.
Do you have to dry it out or anything?
It dries, yeah, after we mount it, then we set it aside to dry. Usually takes about, depending on the size of the fish, usually takes about 2 weeks. He's a VA veteran. He's here on the post 9/11 GI Bill. He's finishing up this trout now. He's epoxying the head and setting the eyes in and getting it ready for painting. That's the stage he's at with that.
Now, does the customer usually have a request for any type of the way it's mounted in that? Or is it usually just what you think is going to look the best for him?
He usually says pick the best side. Because sometimes fish have markings on them in the back, or they're missing a fin.
Right.
So we take the best side, what we call the show side, and that's the side we're going to mount. today we're teaching the students how to skin a squirrel, gray squirrel, and how to mount it and finish it for display. So right now that's what they're doing. They're skinning, taking the body out, and which is a slow process till that gets all finished up. So we take a scraper, lay the squirrel out nice and flat, and just start pulling. Add borax as we go. And you can do that. Squirrels have what we call bubble eyes, like this here. So we have to hollow this form out in order for them to fit. So we take the Dremel. Take the wire, and I'm going to bring it up right out through there. I'm going to put a bend on this, bring it in, anchor it. I know that's too long, but we got to wait till we get the squirrel, and then we'll measure the tail. In the meantime, I'm going to take some cotton. And we're going to try to blend this in a little bit. When you wet it, it sticks better. Okay, now we're going to wash the squirrel skin. We're going to put a little bit of Dawn and a little bit of Lysol, which is a bacteria killer. Just put a little cap full in there like that. Cold water, always cold water. Hot water creates bacteria, and that's something we don't want to have. Take the squirrel out of the and then put it in there. I'm going to get it washed nice and clean. Make sure there's no blood or dirt or dust. I'm going to put that up on the top. Just like that. Next thing we're going to do is get this arm in. And you see the purpose of that clay. We're going to push that form right into the clay, and you're going to have one smooth juncture. We'll do this one. Okay. And we're going to do a bottom one. Like that. Now I'm going to put the tail in first by bending the wire. I'll find it first. That's why we use a thin wire, soft wire, and again it's galvanized so it doesn't rust. Pull it up. And then lastly, the next step in the fur course is the processing of a deer head. All the components are here to put it together. What you first have to do when the customer brings the deer in We have to cape it out, flush it down, get it nice and clean, and send it off to a tannery. The tannery then processes the cape and turns it into leather, like this here. It's nice and clean, and it's also moth-proof. This hide that we marked, we have as number 4. So number 4 gets matched up with the antlers, which is number 4, and the receipt of the customer is number 4, and that's the pose that he wants. So we soak up this cape, get it nice and soft, and then we go and put the antlers on the mannequin like this, and like this right here. So then once he has this on, then we got to prep the form. By scraping it down, we get it all roughed up. We open up the nostrils with a Dremel tool, screw the antlers onto the mannequin, and get that ready to mount. This we mounted yesterday, so we put the match the horns up with the cape and the mannequin, put it together, sewed it up the back, and now we have to let it dry for 2 weeks before we could actually paint around the eyes and the nose and finish it up.
After days of observing the veterans work with fish, fur, and big game, they spoke about the healing aspects of taxidermy and their future plans.
Started out, I was actually out deer hunting with my neighbor. We stopped by his nephew's house, and he does taxidermy. So I started looking around and saw some good reviews for Bill Allen's, and I ended up, it was 2 weeks before the course started, but called him up, and he was able to work some magic and help with the VA, and got all my funding set up so I could end up here. Been a good experience so far. It's a really relaxed working environment. Not a lot of pressure. So far we've done our birds, our upling, the 2 pheasants, 2 ducks. We've done the fish. So far, fish, least favorite part of the process. But done a fox and a squirrel, and we're starting our deer today. With the environment, I mean, they're not pushing you to rush or anything like that. It's really laid back. I don't know, you just really get lost in the work with taxidermy. So you just kind of lose track of time, and everything else you're thinking about, you're just concentrating on doing your mounts, doing your birds, your fish, whatever. So kind of helps you lose your place in the world for a little bit and just escape to your happy place, I guess.
Well, taxidermy has always been an interest of mine. I started working by myself doing European mounts, which is the skulls, and I wanted to further it. I was doing skulls for people, but I wanted to be able to do every aspect of it and run my own business. So far, fish is my hardest thing. I'm a little bit behind everybody else. But as far as the birds go, it's interesting how you can pose them. Well, it's nice having other vets in the course with you because they're kind of on the same train of thought as you. And as far as the work itself, it's soothing. I mean, I get lost in doing the work.
In the process of other jobs, federal type jobs that are kind of 6 months to 8 months to get in. So I thought this would be a good thing, something I've wanted to do in the past, just hadn't really had the opportunity. And now that I had time to do something like this, I went online, found Bill Allen School, saw it was veteran VA approved. So I started doing some research on Bill Allen, liked everything I could find on him. So chose this school and got in contact with him, and that put me here. Oh yes, I constantly hunt and fish, try to normally plan everything around that. Throughout the military, I couldn't hunt or fish as much, so now that I got more time hunting, it kind of revived that passion and definitely helped put me here. I am kind of a nature lover. I'm the type of person who last year after deer season, I went out and instead of hunting deer, took my camera and I was just taking pictures and stuff like that. And with taxidermy, bringing everything back to life is definitely something I enjoy doing. Trying to bring back that beauty that you have in nature, bring that back to the animal itself that somebody brought in. And whenever somebody brings in something, they expect it to come back to the same form or life that they saw it right before they shot it or right as they caught it. And try to just bring that back to them like I would want it done for something of mine, just to relive that moment. And for me, it's nice to just kind of escape everything, just focus on what I'm doing. It's like if somebody was to draw a picture or, read a book, this is kind of the same thing for me, just kind of escape the world and just focus on what I'm doing.
In addition to instructing veterans, several non-veterans take the course as well.
My fiance is an avid hunter, and actually this past deer season, I was really interested in making a blanket out of the deer that he had got. So we looked into taxidermy school, and I had just quit my job a few months ago, so it seemed like a good opportunity, time to take it. I think this is the beginning of the 4th week, and I was actually really surprised. The second class, we were skinning our first pheasant, so they kind of plunged right into the whole taxidermy thing, which was exciting, and I really enjoyed the fish part. I don't think anybody else has, but...
I used to live in upstate New York. I've always kind of been around hunting. I didn't really get too much into it. My boyfriend now, we live in Quakertown on a farm. He really got me into hunting. He's a big hunter. And a lot of the times we would take all of our animals to his taxidermist. The last time I tried to give him a call, he's about 2 years behind. He kind of gave me the idea to look into this and see what I think about it, and I did some research, and I'm really glad that I came. It's something I really like being here every day and seeing what I can do and everything that I can make. And when I leave here, I'm actually going to go apprentice with our taxidermist that I use at home and slowly but surely build a shop at the house and start going from there.
I've been here in the shop since I was a very little girl. I would come in, and I've been an instructor here for approximately 6 years, helping with each class. We get 3 classes a year, 6 students in each class. So randomly I've taught over 80 students so far. I tell everybody not to be frustrated because it's a very hard class to go through. It takes a lot of time and patience, and a lot of students get discouraged, and I just tell them to have confidence in yourself. You need confidence in this 100%, and always to practice. When they leave here, I tell them to make sure that they do work all the time, because you're going to forget it, to keep on practicing and apprentice. It's you want to apprentice if you could, but if not, go ahead and open your shop up and just do all the work you can. Practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. When you see a student accomplish something that they were discouraged at first, and then they smile and they're happy about that, it looks like, for example, when they're doing a deer and they're putting it together and they're like, it's not going to look great, it's not going to look great, and they get it all done and it looks awesome. Or on a customer's point of view, when they come in and they see their deer and they're like, yeah, good job, this is just how I wanted it.
This is absolutely going to be a career. When I'm finished here, I'm already starting my web pages, my social media pages, and I'm going to run it out of my garage at first until I get established and then move into another building.
It's a good place to be, like especially where I'm at, there's not a lot of veterans, at least not guys that I served with, so you kind of feel out of place for a while. And then you come up here with, I was lucky enough, there's 3 other veterans in the course, so it kind of feels like being at home.
5.
On this episode, we got to see a lot of different things done. We got to see a stuffed squirrel, deer, fish, got to see the whole taxidermy process. On top of that, we got to meet some interesting veterans who are really getting a lot out of this course. They're going to have some great careers ahead of them. And it took courage for these guys to come out of their homes and take this course and really try to move forward with their lives. And remember, courage heals the soul.